Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. It has been a while since I sat down to film a video. A lot has happened. First of all, I had to put my car in the shop. We had a huge flood a couple of weeks ago and some water got into my fuel line. I'm a rideshare driver, so without my car, I cannot work. The car was dropped off on Thursday morning of that particular week, and they couldn't look at it until Monday. So that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't work Sundays. So that was already 3 days, almost 3 days that I missed there. They contacted me on Monday and told me what was going on with the car. And it was Tuesday when they were finished with it, but I wasn't able to actually pick it up until Wednesday morning. So of course, lost all that time. Once I got my car back, I was working a lot to try to make up for the time, and the money that I missed when I wasn't able to work and didn't have my car. Then I got sick, and just a lot of stuff happened, and I just wasn't able to sit down and film. But here we are now. We are back at it. In this video, I am going to be doing one of two palettes, which is part of the Glamlite Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 collection. So we have the Team Edward palette, and then we have the Team Jacob palette. Those of you that watched the video that I did on the ColourPop New Moon collection know I am Team Edward. I have always been Team Jacob. I have always been Team Jacob. I will always be Team Jacob. I adore Jacob. I love Edward, but Team Jacob is what I've always been. There was an entire promo collection that you could have gotten in a special collector's box. I didn't really like the box, and there was a lot of things within the collection I just wasn't interested in. For one, there was a purse that had Edward's face on it. As much as I love Twilight, I don't need a purse with Edward's giant face on it. And it was actually this picture that was on the purse, and this picture was also on the hand mirror, which was $35. I don't need a $35 hand mirror either. There is a limit to what I'm willing to collect and spend my money on. There was also a lip kit that I did not pick up. I think it was a brown lip pencil with a red gloss. It was just very weird. I just was not interested in that, so I only got the pieces that I was interested in. The first piece was the Team Edward palette. It comes in this little collector's box, which I really love. It reminds me of the way the Kiss collection palette came in. Open the box. On the inside of the lid, we have a little quote from Edward. "No measure of time will be long enough, but let's start with forever." And I think that's really, really cute. And then on the inside, we have our palette. I'm going to pop that out. The palette, as you can see, has a holographic cover, which I think is really, really cute, nice and shifty. And then on the inside, this is our color story. As you can see, lots of cool, rich, deep tones. When you just look at the color story on its own, I think it's absolutely beautiful. Do I think it's the perfect color story for Edward? I don't know, but on its own, it is a beautiful color story. And I did do close-ups and swatches of this palette. There are 6 mattes. Well, first of all, it's a 15-pan palette. There are 6 mattes. The mattes were so beautiful, swatched beautifully, creamy, rich, buttery. There are 8 shimmers in this palette, and I think a couple of them are also shifty, like this one right here. I believe is one of a duochrome. That may be the only one in there. There may have been one more. I can't quite remember, but you'll see that in the actual swatches. But the shimmers were so freaking pretty. This is the palette that we're going to work with today. I'm going to be doing 2 looks with this palette. The second one is our Team Jacob palette. Like I mentioned, I am Team Jacob. This is the inside. There is no quote from Jacob. It just says Breaking Dawn on the inside. As you can see, the palette is nice and shifty. I will be showing this one and talking more about this one in the second video, which will be 2 looks with this palette. The last piece that I picked up from this collection, this is the Wedding I Do highlighter. It goes from Edward and Bella, and then right here it says I'll meet you at the altar. And this is a really, really pretty icy highlighter. There is a slight shift to it. It has kind of a purpley shift. So freaking pretty. We're going to go ahead and put this on. I've done all my makeup up into highlighter, so let's go ahead and throw this on real quick. First, I'm going to go ahead and just throw on my eye primer. This is the Locked Eye Primer from A2 Labs and Sheer. We'll just go ahead and let this set down while we do the highlighter. I'm going to use this highlighting brush from Chic, and it's going to go in here, and we'll see how well it works with a brush. It was really, really pretty, kind of a little bit glittery, glitzy when I did it with my finger. Let's see how well it applies with the brush. Something tells me it's going to be glittery. Oh yeah, that is pretty though. Ooh, but very glittery, not super smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my sponge, and I'm just going to tap that in. I like to use a sponge when applying highlighters and blushes, just to kind of blend everything in so I don't end up with a streak of highlight. You can still see the highlight in the cheek, but it is a little glittery. Definitely something for more of a special occasion, not one that I would wear on a daily basis. To start this look off, I'm going to go into this kind of maroon red shade Volturi. That was, if you guys are unaware, Volturi is kind of like the royal parliament of the vampires, as it were. I'm going to lay that on the outer corner, and then I'm going to take Leon, I believe that's how you pronounce that, Lion or Leon, and I'm just going to put that in the corner, on the crease. So let's start with the Volturi, and then we're going to go into the shade. So how have you guys been doing while I've kind of been missing in action from YouTube? I hope everything has been going well for you guys. I tell you, when my car broke down, it was something else. That was the day when there was a whole lot of storms going on, and I know that there were a lot of storms and flooding happening in other parts of the world too, or parts of the country in this area. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. We don't usually have flooding like that, which was crazy. I'd gone out at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like I usually do, to take rides, because I'll go out for a few hours, and then I'll take my son to school on my days to take him, and then I'll go back to work. So I went to work, went to pick him up, got ready to take him to school, and then after I dropped him off, I went and put gas in my car. Came down the street, turned the corner, and then my car just started to lose power. I don't know what was going on with it. I had to call my husband to come help me. We got the car towed, but like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they were not able to even look at the car until Monday. So yeah, being out of work during that time sucked. I'm going to take Leon on. This is a profusion brush that came out of, it is the Succulent collection, I believe it is. I got it out of a mystery box. I had originally said Poison Ivy, and one of you guys reminded me or mentioned to me that it was actually the Succulent collection. That collection came out so long ago that I swear I barely even remember it, so I wasn't even thinking about this being in that collection. But this brush, it's so nice and soft and flexible, and it just blends so well, especially for products in the crease. The mattes in this palette are just so buttery. I've always been a fan of Glamlite's eyeshadow formula. It's just so pretty. I am going to go back in with just a little bit more on this outer corner just to kind of deepen it, since we did lose a little bit, and then blend this part out a little bit more into the crease. I think what I want to do is take first this shade right here and put a little bit in the inner portion of the eye, and then I'm also going to take a little bit kind of closer to the brow bone. I'm just going to lay a little bit in this inner portion like that, and then use it to also kind of blend out along the brow bone. Now for our shimmers, I'm going to take Vegetarian, this one on the outer corner, and then we're going to put Diamonds on the inner portion. I have had these palettes, you guys, for like almost 2 weeks, and I haven't sat down and actually used them yet because I wanted to film with them and do kind of like a first impressions, but I have been dying to put these on my put these shadows on my eyelids. Such a pretty sparkly shade. I'm going to take Diamonds onto this little flat brush. This is also part of that Succulent collection from Profusion. And I'm going to lay this in the inner portion, going into the inner corner. It's such a pretty sparkly shade. That is going to be it for the shadows. I'm going to go offline, do liner, lashes, lips, and then we'll come back and we'll see the final look put together. We're back. Final look is complete. For my wing, I'm using my Revolution Slick Flick liner in black. My lashes are from Broadway. They are the 5D lashes. I think these are really, really pretty. I got them at a local beauty supply store. My waterline, Tresluce. This is the Intenso liner in Icy. I really liked this liner for this look because it is like a sparkly diamond liner, and I thought that would be perfect for a Team Edward themed look. And then we have for my lips, the combination this is from Derol. I got this off of Temu. The shade's in Possessive. It's a really soft pink. And then I paired it up with this Revolution lipstick. I'm not quite sure the shade. I got this out of an advent calendar. But that is the first look put together, completed. Now, let's jump into doing look number 2. Welcome back to look number 2. We are continuing with the Breaking Dawn Twilight Team Edward palette. Once again, we have this really awesome shifty holographic cover, which I adore. I'm also wearing, once again, the highlighter, the Breaking Dawn I Do Wedding Highlighter. I'm wearing just a little bit of that on top of my cheekbones. For this look, we're going to be starting out with Gifted on the outer corner, and then we're going to be going into Thirst, which is this pretty lavender gray. I'm going to use that to kind of blend out the shade. I might go into Forks, which is this really pretty rich black, and use that as my liner. We'll see where we end up, but let's start with Gifted. My eyelids are already primed. I'm once again using my Locked A2O primer in Sheer. All right, so let's jump into doing this look. I'm going to use this detailed little brush. I think this is from an AOA Studio brush set, but this is what we're going to be using to lay down Gifted. I'm just going to lay a little bit on the outer corner and then just start blending. It's a very pretty, rich, steel blue gray shade. Have a little bit of Thirst on my Real Techniques crease brush, and we're just going to kind of windshield wiper back and forth just to blend this out. Same thing on this eye. I did go back in with a little bit more of Gifted just to deepen the outer corner. I'm going to take the soft blending brush, this fluffy one. There's no product on this. I just want to blend it out a little bit more. For our shimmers, I'm going to go into Sparkle, which is kind of a black-based gray-blue shade, and then we're going to take Century and lay that in the inner portion. So we're going to lay this on the kind of the outer part of the lid going into Century. Let's go on ahead and just lay this shade down. This is so rich and deep. I just want to kind of lay this on the outer portion going into that Gifted matte shade. Now I'm going to take Century on this pointed Eloise brush. I got this out of a BoxyCharm box like 20,000 years ago. I love that this shade has a really pretty purpley gray shift. So pretty. And I'm just going to take this shade and lay it on the inner portion and blend it into, what shade was that? Into the Sparkle shade. Ooh, on the lid, do you see that? It has kind of a gray, not gray, green kind of a shift to it. You see, I see more green on my lid, on my eye, than I do the actual purpley pink, which I see in the palette. Very, very interesting. Now that I've laid down the shimmers, I think I am going to go in with Forks and use that as my liner just to kind of deepen the outer portion of the eye, smoke it out a little bit more. I'm using this small Blend Bunny brush, B12. It's just a very small pencil brush, and I'm just laying this on the outer portion. I just want to kind of smoke it and deepen out the outer portion of the eye. Off camera, I did go on ahead and fill in the lash base also with that same dark shade, the Fork shade. Alright, so this is going to be it for the shadows. I'm going to go off camera, finish off the look, and then I will give you my final first impression thoughts of this beautiful palette. So we're back. Final look is complete. To finish off my eye look, I used, this is the Ulta Beauty Cream Gel Liner in Bare. That's what's in my waterline. On my lips, the combination is the Nude X Lip Liner from Beauty Creations in Always Extra. And then the all over lip color is from Revolution. It is the Air Blur Soft Matte Liquid Lipstick in Ballet. My lashes are the same Broadway lashes that I used in the first look. Now, my final first impressions of what I think about this palette. First of all, love the collector box packaging. I think that is freaking awesome. I also love this little shiftiness going in the holographic shift in the actual, on the cover of the palette. I think this color story is beautiful. Do I think it is Edward's perfect color story? Not sure about that, but on its own, it is absolutely beautiful. These shimmers are so freaking pretty. All of the mattes blended beautifully. I did not have an issue with any of them. So if you're thinking about, getting the palette as a collector's piece, but you wasn't sure how the actual formula is, the formula is beautiful. I always love Glamlite's formula. But that is going to be it for this 2 looks video. In the next video, I will be doing 2 looks with the Jacob palette, and then coming this weekend is going to be the launch of a new palette from Nomad. So yeah, lots of fun things coming up. Very excited. If you enjoyed the video, please sure to give the video a thumbs up. Really does help with getting my videos into recommendations. Comments, thumbs, all that stuff helps to kind of push the videos out into the ether. Hopefully more people will be able to see them. If you're new to the channel and you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider joining my little family, hitting subscribe. Make sure you tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. And you can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on Blue Sky. I do post over there regularly, just kind of like the day-to-day of what I'm doing, if you guys want to check that out. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.